chasing the rabbit so you don't have to. Here they are, Mark and Don, the two crazy guys.
All right, welcome to another broadcast of the two crazy guys. You're locked on to ContraRadioNetwork.com, and you're listening to this program. And my name is Donald Lowery, a.k.a. Big D. And on the other side, I have my buddy Mark Boyle, a.k.a. Prepper Guy. How's it going today, bud?
It's actually going really well. I mean, other than life getting in the way of my fun and entertainment.
Well, that's the way it always goes. But guess what? Guess what? Ambassador, what's his name? Sondland.
Is that from Ukraine?
The ambassador Sondland was in the impeachment sham, and all the media was talking about the bombshells and how he has bombshells, and this is the smoking gun. And they were acting. He says everybody was in the loop, and there was no secrets about this, and everybody was acting on President Trump's words. What's the word I'm looking for? His orders. And the whole thing is a sham. And let me tell you why I think the whole thing is a sham, because he himself said, if you were listening and paying attention, like I was, he basically was talking to Adam Shifthead, and he said, well, he had this phone. Now, first of all, if you listen to him, you would think that he was on the phone constantly with President Trump. I've had so many phone calls with all these high level of authoritative people that I don't remember anything, and I don't take notes, and I don't have any memos, and I don't remember anything. This guy's one of their star witnesses. He doesn't remember anything. But what he does remember is that he had a phone call with President Trump, and he asked President Trump, basically he said, "What do you want?" And President Trump told him, "I don't want anything from Ukraine. I don't want anything. I don't want anything. Tell them to do what's right."
Right.
And so I don't understand why that didn't just ruin the whole testimony and stop the whole clown show.
Well, I'm sure they're going to go back to the feelings issue, and it's like, well, how did Trump make you feel? That seems to be more important. Is what did he offend the ambassador Ivanovich or whatever her name was? How did you feel when Trump tweeted that about you? It's like, it really doesn't matter. That's a civil matter. Sue him if you're all butthurt.
Exactly right.
Why is that in congressional hearings about whatever this dog and pony show is?
Exactly right.
And it keeps shifting to where keeps shifting the story. It's extortion. Now it's bribery. And the president has the right to use force to get a good deal for America. It's called negotiating. And bribery has to be from another country offering Trump something of value for Trump's personal gain. But Trump was negotiating for the country, as $400 million or whatever it was. That's our tax dollars. And if he wants to demand that some action be taken and looked into a crime that may have been perpetrated on us, the taxpayers, he can use that as leverage. It's not illegal, and it's not bribery, because he's forcing. They were better off with the extortion,
than
the bribery charges, which they don't have any charges at all.
Understand, the bribery thing came about because they had focus groups, and the focus groups said that bribery sounds more damaging than quid pro quo.
Right, because most people can't even pronounce quid pro quo.
But see now we're back to quid pro quo, because of Sondland said that there is quid pro quo. There was quid pro quo. But then if you listen to his testimony, He doesn't remember anything. He doesn't have any proof of anything. He doesn't have any notes. He doesn't have any memos, but he does recollect a phone call that he had with Trump that Trump said, I don't want anything from Ukraine. I don't want quid pro quo. I don't want anything. And the other thing is, there's sound bites, and I have them. I can't play them right now because I don't have them queued up. But
what's wrong with you?
You listen to the guy, and you'd think that he was like best friends with Trump. Trump says he hardly even knows the guy. He's only talked to him a couple of times on the phone.
Right. Well, the whole thing, watching this for the last 3 years, it's like somebody gave Schiff and Mueller a job description to go find something in the corner of the room, and then they stuck him in a round room.
Each year, an average of 6 hurricanes make landfall in the U.S. This year alone, 2 are expected to become Category 3 or higher. We've all seen it on the news before. The second a storm becomes a hurricane, people flock to their local stores and empty the shelves in a matter of hours. Thousands are left without food and water for their families because they weren't prepared. Don't be one of those people. Prepare now with a 72-hour emergency kit from Valley Food Storage. It's the best and easiest way to get all of the essentials for an emergency in one convenient bag, from freeze-dried food to first aid and more. Rest assured that in your time of need, you can count on Valley Food Storage. Order your emergency kit today.
Alrighty, welcome back to the second segment of today's program on the Two Crazy Guys podcast. My name is Donald Lowery, a.k.a. Big D, and I have with me Mark Boyle, a.k.a. the Prepper Guy. Mark has been putting a lot of effort onto the website at ContraRadioNetwork.com.
Yes.
And Mark has created a social media network on ContraRadioNetwork.com. And all you have to do is log on to ContraRadioNetwork.com, click on the Get Social link, and sign up for a free account. All of the hosts that are on CRN will be there as well, so you can interact with us. I am on there. Mark is on there. John Jeffers is going to be on there. It is absolutely free. There's no reason why you can't log on and create a free social media account and join the fun on Contra Radio Network.
Yes. Facebook like. Well, and if we can get some of our other hosts, once we get the word out with Daniel J., it'd be nice to be able to, ask questions to them. Joe that we spoke with, Borowski, and then
Joe Borowski. Joe Borowski is the VP of Operations over at Valley Food Storage. By the way, you can try before you buy. Log on to ContraRadioNetwork.com. Click on the banner there and get yourself a free sample. No credit card needed, and you can try it out absolutely free on us. They were nice enough to let us do that. They are a sponsor of the program, and they're pretty cool people. So this segment of the program is also being sponsored by Valley Food Storage. So
yep. Yeah. And then Prepping 2.0, Shelby Gallagher and Glenn Tate, author of the 299 Day Series, and Shelby are authors, and they're on our show, and they they're part of the group. Yeah. And if we can get them on there, because I know they're suing Facebook for censorship, so maybe they'll come over, and we have a group of really interesting people that are very knowledgeable in the field of prepping, survival, food storage, and all the key factors to stay alive when it hits the fan.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, I think there's a couple other, there's an S and an H, but I'm really bad at spelling, so it's the fan.
Yeah. And it is going to hit the fan too, folks.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. We talked a little bit about the impeachment hearings. I don't even know what to call them, because they're really not hearings.
No.
It's really not even legally part of the impeachment process.
No.
It's just an entertainment show.
Yes.
And they're trying to tell all these Democrats, well, here's a round room, go find a fact in the corner and they're just running with it around in circles. And meanwhile, the only one in Washington that's working is Trump.
Yeah.
All these problems we face in America, and thank God we got a president that would rather get his job done and meet his promises to the American people that voted for him than join in all the reindeer games. Since it's Christmas time, we'll bring that up.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It is funny. This whole thing has been nothing but leading the witness. And then they're still not getting the answers that they want.
No.
It just, it just blows me away.
I got a question for you that's kind of on the same line. So, it seems like Trump tweeting has hurt a lot of feelings in there in Washington, which I didn't even think they had a heart in Washington.
So,
but obviously, some of them are getting all butthurt over his tweets. What do you think about him as a president tweeting as much as he does? Because I personally love it, but
I agree with
in
it.
the news.
No, I agree with it because he's a genius. And here's why he's a genius, Mark, because he knows that the media is full of crap.
Right.
And so he goes on Twitter, he makes a post on Twitter, and then the media goes out and publishes what he said.
Right. Otherwise, they would ignore him and he would become a non-issue, but they have to bite the red meat.
So what's going on is he's getting his news out through his Twitter account. And even though the media wants to say that he's, make up all this fake stuff, the fact of the matter is when they publish his tweets, they're publishing what he's saying. And so he's getting his message across anyway.
Right. And we talked about that, how it worked for him in the election was, he could have spent $100 billion on that election. And if they wanted to ignore him, he would have not even been in the running.
Right.
But he used the media and the tweeting and all that and said things that the American people agree with, but the media just vehemently can't stand. And so they reported on it and they gave him billions of dollars in free publicity. And I think him tweeting, when you read some of the old Federalist papers, I mean, the Federalist papers were published to get these thoughts out and what the debates were going on and the different sides of the position. The old expression, "I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox," comes from politicians going out in the town square and saying stuff. So you knew what was going on because we didn't have, media like we do nowadays, and we didn't have social media and all that, and we didn't have 300 million Americans running around. So I think it's keeping with tradition, really, to continue to talk, to get that word out, what he's thinking, what he's saying. I think it's great. I don't read a lot of his tweets, but boy, you sure hear him on the news.
Oh yeah, that's his whole point. That's how he's getting his message out.
Right.
Nobody said anything nobody said a word when Barack Obama took his BlackBerry into the White House.
Oh yeah. And he had a phone and a pen, so
yeah.
He used social media. I mean, he did a really good job with social media, getting him elected and all that. And yet it was fine then. But not for Trump. Well, not for a Republican. Now, let's just say that because Republicans are like the modern day leper, to the media,
Right.
You don't even want to get too close to the story. It might rub off on you and you might become a thinker.
Well, and that's the whole point that I'm getting at is the media is so far gone, and I alluded to that. I think it was on my program with all of us, but I think I alluded it to the beginning of this program too. Even the stronghold conservative pages like Drudge Report, man, I can't believe that.
Are they losing it?
Well, if you go on Drudge, everything is anti-Trump.
Wonder why that is. Is there just more money for it, or are they just cowards, or are they getting
I don't know
bullied or threatened?
I don't know if his website automatically parses links from these headlines or what, And maybe it's just that it's just grabbing those links automatically. But man, it's just, I don't know, man. I'm not liking it at all. And I was telling John, because I had a conversation with John Jeffers, host and founder of Contra Radio Network, and I was telling him how crazy it is that, everything, it's so hard to do a podcast anymore because you can't find valuable content, good content that you can actually trust on to be true.
Right. You almost have to not be a reporter, but you have to be able to sift through so much noise to get one bit of information that might do the American voter a service.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. It's so crazy. And we keep talking about it hitting the fan. And guys, I really think that it is going to hit the fan a lot sooner than what you think is going to happen. Because I'm going to tell you, silent majority, grassroots America, they try to impeach this guy, man. Yeah. And
the silent majority might remain silent, but they're going to be there doing stuff because they're not protesters, whiners, they don't need media attention. It's like the Tea Party. It's just boom, there it was.
So they can draw up articles of impeachment in the House all day if they want, but they have to have a crime to try in the Senate. And so far they don't have one. But so even if it does go to the Senate, it's going to be kicked out. He's going to still run. He's going to win anyway. And boom, liberal heads explode.
Well, let me bounce this off you. Let's say that their big master plan, like John was saying, was to, do this impeachment thing. If it goes to the Senate and the Senate just shoots it down because it's BS, then they have that right before the election that the Senate and the Republicans are trying to steal justice. And I guess it could go either way, even if the Senate said, sure, we'll hear it, and then they went to court. And now a shift and all these people have to testify in court, basically. Then they're going to make it look like, it's a witch hunt. But I think they're going to try all of this right before the election and then try to make it look like the Republicans or the conservatives or we the people and the Trump supporters are cheating somehow. We're using the Senate to cheat. I'm just wondering, not saying that people aren't going to flip out about it on both sides. So I'm just wondering what their game plan is, because there is a game plan. It might seem like cat and mouse, but eventually
I'll tell you,
the mouse wants to kill, or the cat wants to kill the mouse.
I will tell you what the game plan is when we come back from the break. Do not go away. Check out our sponsors. We'll be back right after this. Alrighty, welcome back to this segment. This is the third segment of today's program, brought to you by Proper. Proper specializes in tactical and military type gear. Right. You can catch Proper by logging on to ContraRadioNetwork.com and click on the sponsors page there, and you can click on that, and that'll take you to their page.
Right.
And so, we were talking before the break about the nonsense that it is. And it is this whole impeachment thing. Here's the game plan. The game plan is to try to rile up the base.
Right.
Okay. That's the game plan, because every day since it was announced that Donald Trump won the presidency, it has been about impeaching Trump, and they have yet to do it. Well, see, now this looks like they're making a step forward, because you see, to the uneducated
Right.
individuals that are out there, the uneducated actually think that this is the impeachment trial,
Right.
but it's not. This is a hearing. It's crap. It doesn't mean anything. What they're doing right now means absolutely nothing.
Right. It would be the preliminary. It's really not even part of the impeachment process. This is just a bunch of talk to say, hey, we should impeach him. And then they have to go through real hearings, write up letters of impeachment or articles of impeachment, and then present it to the Senate. And then it goes into an actual real trial, not a dog and pony show.
Right.
So this is really not even a step along the way.
No.
It's more of a bunch of beat cops going out gathering information and knocking on doors before the
They're just
detectives
trying-
even get a call and go, hey, investigate this. And then it has to go.
They're just trying to get lucky.
Right. And I don't think Trump is stupid enough to just jump into a trap, which is what it is. They're, just like they did with Roger Stone. They entrap these people and wreck their lives for
Right.
nothing. I mean, everything that they're charging Roger Stone with really never happened, but yet those charges are still going to stick until
Right.
Trump hopefully, pardons him, and really he should, because that's not Roger Stone's fault that he got sucked into this vortex of hate by the Democrat Party.
Yeah,
Trump,
go ahead.
this is the Trump derangement syndrome, and a lot of innocent people got sucked into that, and I don't think they should pay the price for the Democrats' lunacy, really.
Well, and that's what it is. It's pure unadulterated lunacy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, it just blows me away that people actually take this stuff seriously.
Right. Even with Martha Stewart, when she lied to the FBI, and that's why she did some time, there was a crime they were investigating. And then she, made misleading statements or whatever it was. But it started out with a there. This is a fishing expedition that's dredging up a lot of innocent people and wrecking their lives, like Stephanopoulos and these guys that should have never been, netted in, I guess.
Exactly.
Because they were looking for the crime to investigate a crime. Yeah, there was no crime there.
Well, she was made the scapegoat, just like Oliver North was made the scapegoat.
Right.
But this whole it's funny to watch, because every time there's a new there's somebody new going to test. This is the bombshell. This is the smoking gun that we've been waiting for.
Right.
This is the one. This is the guy that, they did that with Sondland.
Yeah.
He's the bombshell. And if you watch it on CNN or MSNBC or whatever it was, on how they have the, like you do here down below, they have the little screen stuff typed out on the screen.
Right.
Impeachment hearing, the White House in crisis. The White House is not in a crisis.
No, it's not. Well, what it seems like to me as a simple-minded person is, it's like you go to the movie theater and then they show all the previews and turn off your cell phones and all this, but it's been going on for 3 years, but there's no movie behind it.
Exactly.
You're just wasting your time telling you, stick around. We promise there's a movie, and I don't know how long people could watch it. I mean, I fed up with it. And the only reason I watch it is so we can talk about it and people talk about it. But it really is a non-issue when you consider so many other things of importance going on in the world. One
Right.
minute Trump is a Russian spy,
Right.
and now he's helping Ukraine fight Russia. Is that what an ally does? It's like, give their enemy a bunch of money so then they can bomb Israel. No, you're either are or you aren't.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know, man.
it's mind numbing, and it's kind of funny sometimes to talk about, even though
It's
guys,
hilarious.
I was watching it last night on the news for a little bit, and I liked what Devin Nunes said, about when he wrapped up I guess he gets the last word until Schiff gets the last word. And he talked about this Hollywood production and just, you know, it's a sequel to a sequel that never happened. And it was
Yeah.
actually pretty good, but really, and I don't know, I hadn't heard him wrap up before, but it would really be kind of nice if he goes, here's what's happening. This is not a crime. This is not this. This is not that. But no one's listening. So you might as well make light of it because it will blow over. And in a year from now, we'll be chasing some other tail,
Oh yeah, no, and not even in a year, in a couple of months.
Yeah. Yeah. They're literally trying to grow legs on this story that have no legs. I guess this news speak, Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what to talk about other than, I listened to it was a terrible audiobook, but I liked the premise behind it. And it was from a woman's point of view, which was annoying because the crying and stuff drive me crazy. But
Right.
from a prepper's point of view, and a lot of the guys in the audience that have wives that you'd like to get into prepping, it was good to understand their normalcy bias runs deeper and on an emotional level, and it takes them a long time to get on the right page. But
Right.
I'm thinking, you can have a lot of food and you can have a lot of land and water, but
Right.
if you're not paying attention, some tin cup dictator could step in and go, the mayor asked me to take over because he died, and we're not going to have election just yet, but I'm going to feed you. And because you're so reliant on that, even people in the book that had prepared thought, well, this is some kind of normalcy. Let's follow along. And before they realized it, they were, trapped inside this, compound, which was a small town, but instead of being trapped and can't get in. And so there's more to being prepared than just, I think, food and water and guns and ammo. You need to prep your mindset, because you can be sold a bill of goods really quick, like what happened in the book. And I can't remember what the name of it is. I'll maybe do a review on it on my podcast. But listening to it from a woman's point of view was kind of annoying for me as a guy. But it was like, this is reality. If you have a family and a wife, and she's kind of wanting to prep, you need to understand what she will be going through.
Well, yeah. Now, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's important to understand what it is you're prepping for.
Right.
Because there are so many different events that can take place. I mean, you have a nuclear radiation fallout that could occur, and if that's the case, we're all done anyway.
Right. It's pretty much an end game there.
You have a solar flare. The sun could get pissed off and spit at us and decide it wants to destroy us.
Right.
You have now, I remember people talking when the whole zombie thing first was being talked about, and I was like, man, those people are crazy. There's never going to be a zombie apocalypse. But now I'm watching the videos of these guys on Molly and these other drugs, and I'm starting to think to myself, it very well could happen.
You know what? There's a really good book that I had read or listened to by Bradbury. It's called Patient Zero. And it's about a zombie plague kind of thing. But they drill into prion research and how prions can be used to take one DNA strand and bind it to another. And that was, probably written 10 years ago. And you're thinking, my God, they are really close to being able to create literally a zombie virus. And I'm sure there's some lab rat in a coat somewhere cooking stuff up that they don't even understand what will happen.
Yeah.
So it maybe is far-fetched, but the science is there.
Well, I saw a video the other day, and it was robots, shooting guns and hitting the target.
Yes.
Listen, we can talk about this some more when we come back, but we do have to take a break. So we're going to wrap the program up when we come back. Stick around and don't go away. Let's talk about tea. Not just any tea, getthetea.com. They have all kinds of cool stuff. They have cleansing teas, they have stuff for eye health, stuff from the sea, immune support, stamina and energy, food and protein, and just all kinds of cool stuff. Log on to the website at www.getthetea.com. Log on now. All right, welcome back to the final segment of today's program, The Two Crazy Guys, right here on Contra Radio Network. .com, and you can catch us on the stream. All you have to do is log on to contraradionetwork.com, click on the live 365 stream up in the address bar. Haha, Mark, you found it.
Yeah.
For those of you that want to know what we're talking about, you can become a member over on Contra Radio Network, and then you can have access to the video, the full video of this green room and everything. What goes on behind the scenes right there on contraradionetwork.com. And
and we do open up a lot more at the end of the show usually and go off talking more about whatever we were talking about, motorcycles like last week or just being prepared.
For those of you that don't know, I am a motorcycle aficionado. I have been on motorcycles, I won't say most of my entire adult life. I will say most of all of my life. I started riding bikes, I guess, when I was around, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9, maybe 11, somewhere around there. I was a very young little boy.
Yeah, because you really haven't grown up, so you're still not an adult anyway.
Not at all. But so, I've ridden quite a bit of bikes, just about everything that I can think of. Hondas, Yamahas, Kawasaki's, Harley Davidsons, BMWs, all of that stuff. Even Montesa, Moto Guzzi, and even some other ones. I can't even think of the names right now. Some Irish bikes, not Irish, Italian bikes, and just all kinds of really cool stuff.
Yeah, like the Ducatis and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so I've been out there, and I love bikes. But we also, I like camping. I like the outdoors. I like getting away. I like going, sometimes I like to go backpacking, hiking, fishing, just all kinds of stuff. And so I do like to be outdoors more than indoors.
And that is a form of prepping, no matter what people want to classify prepping as, like target practice and all that.
Here's the thing, man.
If you can camp, you're a prepper. You're already halfway there.
Here's the thing, man, is we talked about what you're prepping for. You have to think about that. And Mark, I know Mark feels the same way I do, is that we are heading for civil war in this country.
I think so.
And if that happens, I'm not going to stick around and fight, man. I'm going to go up into the mountains. I'm going to take my wife. We're going to take our hunting gear or our camping gear, and we're going to take some Valley Food storage supplies with us just to keep us, going for a little while till we can transition to living off the land.
Right.
And we're going to go crawl under a rock up in the mountains and let them kill each other.
Right. And there's very few, scenarios that would happen unless, like you said, civil war is more of a hands-on thing. You almost can't run from it. You kind of you're in it, but when you look at Germany was a great society until Hitler screwed it all up.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the people, kind of felt that way about it in life, that if we would have done something, this would have never happened.
Right.
Go ahead on there, Don.
Yeah. And so, when you think about, you've got to think about what it is that you're planning to do and what it is that you're prepping for, because there's so many different scenarios that that you can be prepping for. That, like I said, there could be the zombie apocalypse, there could be a civil war, there could be a solar flare, there could be some lunatic could drop a suitcase bomb. It's hard to know, what it is that we're prepping for. But so you have to think about that, and then you can plan accordingly. I've got a go bag so that I can take off if need be. And, I've got some stuff stashed away here and at family and friends' house so that we can get, if we need to, we can definitely get to relatives and have some stuff there as well. But, Mark, just, you got to think about what it is you're prepping for.
Yes, you do. Hey, I'm going to have to cut this short. You want to do your shopping thing, and then we can try a little.
Well,
bit.
what we can do is we can fade out and we can play Mr. Freeze song here at the end of the program.
That's an awesome idea, because I got someone here that demanding my attention.
Right on. Then we'll listen. We're going to step out. Until next time, we want to thank you for tuning in. Log on to ContraRadioNetwork.com. And here is Mr. Freeze, USSA of America.
Love that song. All righty. Take care, Don.
Later, bud.
Land of the free and the home of the brave. Now, with endless laws and bureaucracies, we're the land of the free slave. The freest, the greatest, the closest thing to utopia this earth has ever witnessed. Yeah, but that was yesterday. 'Cause today, we are the USS of A. The USS of A. The United Socialist States of America. United Socialist States of America. Of your labor is forcibly taken and squandered. You are a slave. Socialism is mind control with endless schemes to steal your money. Socialists are violent weaklings that relentlessly push for government to grow. And right now they're serving up the super nanny state, dude. And it's staring you in the eye. The USS of A. The USS of A. The United Socialist States of America. United Socialist States of America. The USS of A. The USS of A. The United Socialist States of America. United Socialist States of America. Are you fed up with the Democrats? Rotten, devious, evil. Investigations in search of crimes, lies and fake news. They deserve our anger. First call. Get active with your local militias and join my army, Mr. Free. Get ready to stand and fight, because we reject the USS of A. The USS of A. United Socialist States of America. United Socialist States of America. The time to act is now.
Thanks for tuning in. Catch them next time as they dig into the issues. The Two Crazy Guys. Log on to the website at www.contraradionetwork.com.